Google just released Veo 3 and it is a disruption in the world of AI. This is the kind of quality video that's already been created with it.
All right, so I think the locals left this thing called an energy drink. Let's take a sip.
Oh, I'm gonna crash out.
What's life like for you right now?
Woke up, stepped in dung, got taxed, and that was before breakfast.
Now I'm going to show you how you can generate videos just like that, and AI automate hundreds of these videos at scale, and 3 different ways that you can make money from it right now. And as somebody that makes over $120,000 a month with AI, this isn't just posting on social media and hoping for the best. Now, the great news about this stuff is it requires zero coding or editing experience to actually get started and crush it. So if you haven't already, grab that coffee and let's dive straight in. So number 1 is our AI automation system, and we're combining 3 technologies with this. We are using, first of all, the beautiful Lovable.dev that lets us create beautiful, interactive, and gorgeous applications with just text. We're going to be using, of course, Veo, which lets us create videos in any style that we want to, and we're going to be powering this with beautiful, phenomenal NA10, which is our no-code platform builder. Now, the concept of this business model is essentially going to be to supercharge the acquisition of clients. So what we're going to do is create beautiful videos just like this.
I don't think Smith & Associates is getting enough clients. Take it from a wise Yeti, you're leaving money on the table.
Which basically means we get this application, we can specify the client pain point, the setting, the location, the business name, and effectively get custom bespoke, beautiful videos for any kind of client. The idea is that we send these to clients to help close a deal. So you imagine getting a cold email, for example. That's one thing. To get a bespoke, unique video that's 8 seconds long, that's specific to that business, can completely revolutionize your click-through rates, your signups, and the responses you get to. So there's a million things you can do with it once you get it into NA10, which I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that step by step. That also includes, by the way, sending off to a million different social media platforms. I just think that applying it to a business context and service of an outcome is going to yield way better results from you. That's how people are actually making money with AI, the systems and the progression. So let's go through, I'll show you how this works, and then we're going to build it together. So what we do is we build a beautiful form in Lovable. And we basically, in Lovable, now this is fantastically refreshed for us. So the TLDR is we have this form in Lovable, we answer the questions there, the client pain points, the avatar, the location where it's happening, like on top of a rainbow, on a floating iceberg in outer space, the name of the business, and then we get where we want to send it. So that's where we'd get the client email. In Lovable, we can add things like PayPal, we can let payments, or just send this with our marketing team. Then this is sent via a webhook over here, which is grabbed by this automation. We have an AI agent that will take all of that really cool information and turn it into an output, into a prompt with this big, beautiful prompt right here. Once that's happened, we then send the request over to Veo's API using something called FAL, which I'll show in a second. We wait for it to be created, and then once that's done, we then grab it, and then we can send the results on email, which is code for pretty cool freaking news. Awesome, so let's build this one together. Now, a lead magnet automation system has an earning potential of way over $10,000 a month once you get going with this stuff. It's really, really high value when you can prove this conversion. So we're gonna build this one together. So I'm gonna jump over to the community and grab the blueprints real quick. Now, one really interesting thing I wanna double click into. So every automation, let me come down. All right, sweet. So if you were just uploading it, we'd come down, we would grab the beautiful documentation here. Just quickly download this one here. We come over to the dots, come down, click import file. You upload the file and it'll populate for you automatically. One of the things I just want to double click into for a second, just to make sure that you understand this. With the lead magnets, what's really good best practice here is to specify variables. So the way that we're going to do this is client name, pain point, and avatar. In the actual agent itself here, all that input's going to be getting is any fields that we want, right? So say, for example, you want to create something interesting. One interesting hack, by the way, that converts is humor. Humor resonates massively, which is why a Yeti with a briefcase or phone can actually make a difference. Now, we want to give this AI agent a prompt. Most of the work of this automation is actually just finessing out the prompt and getting it right. Fundamentally, guys, you want to be really specific with the input variables, and whatever you get with your prompt structure, you want some of it that's fixed and some bits that are variable. So for example, the 3 things we're going to change here is the client name, the pain point, in other words, hey, you're a lawyer who's struggling with, insert the thing you help them with, and finally, the actual avatar, in other words, like the character type or the Yeti or whoever we're dealing with. Cool. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to build this one beautifully from scratch. So to do this, we're going to add first step. We're going to go for a trigger manual right here. And at the same time, we're going to code build this in Lovable to get the front end. And then I'm going to show you thing number 2 and opportunity number 3. Third is probably the most under-tapped one. I think it's a really interesting one. All right, sweet. So let's head over to Lovable. I'm going to give it a prompt, and we're going to give it the following. So let's just clarify the things that we want, right? Hey there, I'd like you to design for me a beautiful front-end application asking 5 questions. Those questions are client pain points in 3 to 5 words, the avatar, an outrageous location, and list like 10 of them. For example, could be in a glacier, could be in a volcano, near a volcano, on the moon, somewhere interesting. The name of the business, like Johnson Associates, and where shall we send it to? I'd like you to call this one, I don't know, Yeti AI. Let's give it a nice, beautiful gradient background. And once it sends, I'd like you to send it to this webhook. Now, if you're not familiar with webhook, guys, that's how we can basically send information from anything to anything else. So if I come down here, you can click on webhook, like so. Beautiful, okay? And we're gonna go for post. And all you do, guys, is just click this and it will copy it for you. And then in Lovable itself, we just send webhook address like this. So bam. And then Lovable work in the background. Now, the cool thing is we can do things simultaneously. We can multitask. Despite what we've been told, guys, we can multitask. We can make this reality. Cool. All right. So let's come back over to our beautiful N8N scenario. Now, what I'm going to do in this scenario for a moment is set some data just so that we can actually build it without having to trigger the webhook, right? So we're going to come over and click on set. Cool. And what this basically lets us do, guys, is say, hey, from this point forward, when I say email, just use this as dummy data. So I can say, hey, first thing I want is going to be email. And we'll just put my email in there, for example. Now, the interesting thing with this, guys, is that there are some business models that don't require AI automations. Things like N8N and Make are great when I want to take one piece of information and post it on every social media platform, or want to take one piece of information and do something interesting with the inputs. I think this is a unique bit because people can use Gemini, but they can't. Not everyone knows how to use technologies or think in the way that you can, which I think is really interesting. And I also think this is where the big opportunity is. So we've got email. Next thing we're going to want to do, if we come over to our questions to grab out what we've actually got there, we've got the avatar. Cool, beautiful. Let's come back over and set that avatar, which for us is going to be a giant Yeti. Okay, that's a question apparently. I don't know, and then say business name. I will call this one Johnson and I just call it Johnson and Andrews, right? It sounds like the most 1990s corporation that you've ever seen in your entire life. Beautiful. And then a couple more questions, right? We've got name of the business, awesome, outrageous location, and client pain points. Fantastic. So here we just want client pain points. Ace, and then we'll just say not enough customers, and then let's just do location. So location right here, beautiful, on a glacier. Fantastic, test the step, comes out, and then we can pin this information, and you're just going, now we're gonna build the AI agent, so we come down here, AI agent. The prompt is, we're going to define that below like so, beautiful, and then we just grab and just pull and yank all these beautiful guys in here. The video is so cool. I'm sure you saw that one with the prompts, right? Where it's like, I'm not a prompt, you're telling me I'm not a prompt conspiracy. It's just, I think for me, underlines a really interesting psychological feature of our brains. By the way, it's come down to add option, system message, which is the blueprint, the wiring, the kind of, this is your kind of your instructions, your master command for it, right? Let me come down and grab that. So I'm just going to grab it from my VO lead prompt magnet. You can build these, write them. I'd say if you're going to test it, I'd say do that on VO and try in Gemini, because you can have a couple of flirts with it. You can flirt with it a little bit. You get a couple free, I think, on the Pro account now, which is really cool. So it's a bit more cost effective. But I've tried to do a lot of the hard work for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So let me just copy all this, come back over to our beautiful thing here. And we're going to enter in the system prompt. Beautiful. There we go. All right, sweet. So, okay, let's actually just detail this one out. What's really important about it, obviously, feel free to have a quick read through this and stuff. There's a couple of things I really want to call out as really key, okay? One is always give it an example output. And for example, this is an example input, an example output of what you expect. The format, crucially though, a couple of things I found really important is try to, it's got to be 8 seconds maximum. The way you can specify that is with a maximum number of words, like probably up to no more than 16, 17 words. Maybe you can do more. It depends. But it's really good, worth specifying that. And I've kind of defined here what the input variables are. Okay, cool. Right, so we've done that, which is A's. And what we can do is execute the step and see if it gives us something out. It won't work yet because we need to do what is known as give it a chat model, right? So we come down, give it OpenAI. Yeah, the psychological thing I was talking about before, I was really interrupted by myself. But if you're not connected with this, just head over to platform.openai.com and create an API key. I'll put a link down below in the description for you. Okay, so I've selected OpenAI account 4. GPT-4o Mini will be okay for this. Cool, guys. So I've got this now running in the background to get a test output, which will be beautiful. And has it finished? It has raw video selfie of a giant Yeti dressed in a sleek business suit, complete with his tie, recording himself having a great time. Awesome. So the next thing I want to do, guys, is call a HTTP request. So the way we're going to connect to VEO is through something called file.ai. So let's head over to beautiful file.ai and not verify my identity on OpenAI. This is really cool. So what you basically do is create an account. Now there's a cost associated with using this. I believe it's around $5 per API call. So it's slightly more on the expensive side. There's a couple of things that you can do to bring the cost down. One of those is, I'll just pull up and confirm what that is actually. For example, if you take the audio off, right? What you can actually do, and bear in mind, it's cheaper than $250 per month, which I think is really cool, right? To get this kind of thing. But basically, if you do no audio, it can be cheaper. So it's kind of like, you know, you need to make sure you're getting a good ROI with this. Now, the great thing is these are high quality outreaches, right? So the goal isn't to do like a million of them. We want to do kind of personalized outreach at scale with this sort of stuff, and actually just enables to get a higher ROI, because you know what? Just send 10 out and you convert one, then it's absolutely worth it, right? So we're paying a bit of premium for those conversions. So what we do is come down to do a HTTP request. And I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to use a curl. And basically what this enables you to do is you can kind of copy this, right? And this will just paste everything in like this, right? You see, bam, import it. And then it has all the fields that you need, right? So for JSON, this is what the prompt is, the aspect ratio. So for example, for this, we just click on this, and then we can grab the AI agent output. Okay, beautiful, which is fantastic. I think I might need to change this just to make sure that it's plain text real quick. Let me just make this really clear. Please ensure that all outputs are completely plain text. No need to end it with a curly brace at all, thank you. Or a exclamation mark. Just start the video, just start the description as you intend. Okay, beautiful. Let me just execute the step real quick to make sure we get a better response, and then we are gonna be ready to rock and roll. Beautiful. It's done. It listened to me, guys. Who would have thought? We ask it questions, it listens. All right, cool. So we've done that. That's fantastic. Now we need to get an API key. Let's grab that from file. To do that, you just basically come over to API keys like so. You come down, you add a key, it'll pop up. I'll do that right now so you can see. We'll call this one, let's call this one, you know, VO3 with a load of threes, correct key, like so. And then we've got it, and basically you just copy this key like so. And then you can come back over to the beautiful scenario. And then we can just put it here. Obviously you can save it under the headers if you want to. I'm just doing this quickly just to get this built up. Cool, and that's done. And so what we can actually do, guys, if we wish, is just actually test this one out, right? So we come down, you can execute the step real quick, and if it works properly, it's done. So that being a green tick is what we call good news. Great, now the other thing is it's gonna take like a couple of minutes to load this. Typically it's 3 to 5 minutes. So the next thing we do is just add a wait module. Okay, wait module, let's just come down here for minutes. Let's just set this one down for 5 minutes. That's absolutely fine, come over. The next thing I wanna do is get. So again, HTTP request. Let's just do a get request. I'm gonna be lazy doing this. By the way, if you ever wanna build this stuff, you can just look at the documentation. And what I often do, guys, to be honest with you, is I'll come down to the API section, and I'll just copy and paste all of it. And then I'll actually just go to ChatGPT or Claude and be like, dude, just create me a curl request to insert my desired outcome. Now, it can just go forth and search itself, but I found if you can just say, look, no, mate, literally, like, this is what the website says, it just kind of, you know, saves it back and forth a little bit. So that's how I generally build those. But again, just been a little bit lazy. So great. So I come back over. Let's grab the file get video. So just come over here. Beautiful. Head back over to the scenario. Click on this guy, and I'm going to import the curl, enter it in, and then import, and it should be there for us. Cool. And then we just need to give it the API key again. So just copy this one, come back over. Fantastic. And we drop this bad boy in. Fantastic. All right, cool. Now what do we need to do? We need to give it the link from the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this, and I'm going to, just for the purposes of this, just change this to like 2 seconds, okay? Cool, guys. So I've just executed the previous one, and I need to get the request ID brought over. Right there. Okay, cool. And you can see, guys, this is in queue. Just means it's not been made yet, but when it is, it'll be done. Now, the next thing we want to do, well, actually, let's go back and check over on our Lovable real quick to see how that's getting on. Again, we dip in and dip out. There we go. This is cool. So what we're also going to do at the same time now is come over to our webhook. We're going to click on this guy. We're going to click on listen for test events. This is testing our ability to grab the information. We come over to Lovable. They want more customers. They really want more customers. Okay, we need to change the second pain point here. Okay, it's asked that a few times. Okay, we'll just set Mars, Johnson and Co. email at emails.com. Cool, and then send that one off. Cool, so that's it. It's been a success. And do we see the data? And guys, look at this. Just like that, we've got all the information landed and intent, which is ace. Now you've got a front-end application. Do with that what your heart desires. And let me just tell this guy one little thing. Hey, dude, just FYI, you only need to describe one pain point, please. Again, the question should be pain point. It should be an outrageous location, name of the business, where you want to send it, and then an outrageous character or / avatar. So only 5 questions. Thank you very much. Okay, cool. It's done. Right, so he'll go make the changes. And you can kind of spar back and forth a little bit to get nice, fresh, and pippin' and boppin' and having a good time. Cool. Now, the last thing I kind of want to do is I want to email it, right? So we need to link these things together. So basically what you would do is you execute previous nodes here. Once that's done, and then we link and match up the email to what we get in the background, right? So we're going to do that in a second as well. But what we need to do is email the output, right? So we come down, we add in Gmail, which is going to be Gmail here. We're going to click on create a, I think we'll send a message. Beautiful. And then message is going to be, I'll just come over here for a second. Let me just execute the step so we can actually complete it and view the output. And then we can actually complete the scenario and send it off, which I think is going to be really cool. All right, so give this a hot second. Okay, so it's still generating. So once that's done, we can then send it off to the email. And the way that we do that, by the way, guys, is, and I'm just going to come do it here real quick, just so we can actually do it. If I come down here to edit fields, is this email. So I'm just grabbing the code here, like so. All right, sweet. Come over to the email. Is this. And we'll say something like, hey, your video is ready for, in fact, what we could probably do, guys, is just include the name of the business we're saying that to. So let's come down here real quick, down to edit fields, and let's just say it's going to be business name. All right, sweet. Which basically means dynamically, it's going to be, we can list it like, hey, this is a Johnson & Johnson video, right? So Johnson & Johnson video. Cool. And then we want to know what we want in the body, which I think will be absolutely fine. This is the message. Oh, actually, we need to put this over here, which is in the subject, and it was expression, so it knows. Hey there, my man. Your video is officially ready. Check it out here. Cool. And then what we'll do when this one is ready here, again, we'll just give this a little wait. Once this is ready, we can then include that URL and it'll be ready to rock and roll. So we check it one more time and it's still in queue. So give that probably a minute or so and then we're gonna be ready. Beautiful, guys. And just like that, we've got the information back and then you'll effectively get the URL and you can copy that URL and then you can run through and have them rock and rolling. Good times with it. So let's just duplicate and let them up a little bit to see what we're rock and rolling with.
I don't think Johnson Jackson is struggling to get clients. Take it from a wise Yeti. You're leaving money on the table.
Okay, stretches money off that. So two quick things we changed based on this video, right? Number one is I've noticed we probably had an error with the prompt and how I sent the information, not enough customers. So I need to be more specific because he was like, I don't think he's got a problem. So we just need to be better and specific on the prompt. And the other change that I would make to that is probably just removing the caption side. And you can specify all that stuff that's listed in the API, which I think is really cool. So with that, guys, you basically got a full system now. And all you ever do on this, as you can see, you come down, you explain your pain point, which is, hey, I want more clients. Then it could be average avatar location, business name, shall we send this, choose an at-risk character avatar, and then you send it off, and then bam, it goes. Literally, guys, that then goes ahead and lands in the beautiful, phenomenal scenario. And what we do is we just simply come over here and we connect these guys together. And what I'm going to do is disconnect these. I'm going to unpin this, and I'm going to save the scenario real quick. And let's reactivate this guy. And let me just test this one real quick. So we hook it up to Lovable, come back over, just quickly go through the stuff again. Okay, beautiful. Send this information over, come back over to scenario. And now that's actually come through into the scenario. We can just grab those out individually and then link them all up and pull them over to the specific avatar, the email, the business name, and then you're going to be ready to rock and roll. So that is an incredible way to generate some excellent income with basically automating lead mags. But this next one is pretty incredible and is literally removing jobs that people were paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for. That's how transformative this technology is. And that is, of course, a high-end ad creative agency. Now, to do this, you need a couple of skills. First of all, you need the ability to create stories that are going to sit together for the client. You have to understand the experience. But I want to show you just how valuable this is. So 10 days ago, we had this post. I made this ad for my company in under 3 hours using VO3. It cost $120,000 to make in LA. So let's give this a quick check out.
I'm the CIO, and my budget is bloated by a few million.
I have no idea what's in the IT budget.
Half my team hates the tools we've got, the other half ignores them. I can't do this, man.
So what's really cool, they're using really basic minimal editing. You build the whole story prompt out there. Humors are great with to sell, as we know. And then you overlay this on tools like Premiere Pro, or if you're doing basically different dimensions, you can use CapCut, loads of free editors online that you could use to build that. And this is all built, by the way, guys, in 3 hours and $7.25 in AI credits. So to make a success of this, you'd want to focus on the kind of playbook that VO3 excels at, which is talking head video content. Like we saw on that thing, it's mainly like the guy talking in front of it. The kind of positioning is basically going to be 20 to 30% of the actual cost of an agency. So if an agency charges $100,000, you come in about 20 to 30K mark and you'll get them 80 to 90% of the quality. Like, it's completely fine. If I said to you, it's going to be 20% the cost, but 80% the quality, everyone's like, oh my gosh, dude, I take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And the only thing to overcome with this is this slight AI stigma about people really not being able to understand or differentiate between what is an AI ad and what isn't. This is going to be a question of when this change happens, not if. And at the moment, I think I've heard so many cases of full-blown studios who are literally like, I think there's one in recent history actually. They actually stopped the production of a Crazy Studio when they saw how effective and how good these things are going. So this is definitely a time in the market opportunity that won't be around forever. But for those people that can actually create those stories and knit it together with music, it makes it genuinely stand out. And so there's so many businesses, SMEs, enterprises that really benefit from creating this kind of stuff. It also appeals, by the way, to corporate education and corporate like when you basically think of your large companies and you also want to like educate and teach your staff with entertaining visuals, airplane commercials, you literally name it. We no longer need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on expensive crews to make that a reality. And the third opportunity is really becoming a content generation strategic partner for different businesses. And in particular, this can be what we call the landing page, the VSL, which is like the holy grail, which is like the main conversion driver for most businesses. With VO3 now, what you can do is work with SaaS companies, startups, online education companies, anybody that has a website to actually build a beautiful landing page. It's that step below commercial, but the cost of it can be really significant. My first startup, for example, what did I pay? I must have paid 3 to 5K for an animated 1 minute and actually it was like 1 to 2 minute, like literally like animation video thing. And I also had to go and hire a professional voice actor to do my entire thing. That was really interesting to me. With VO3, I wouldn't need to do any of that. I mean, just think of the potential with this kind of thing, that you actually do that. And the reason this works is because effective video sales letters, landing pages, you name it, actually can have a significant increase in the customers, right? Because you've got number of eyeballs, number of people that convert, and the number of people that stay or make repeat purchases. You're attacking that middle layer here, which is the number of individuals that convert. And you can offer your services as a storyboard artist, which is how I would position this, rather than like an AI video engineer, as a sort of storyboarding artist, where you can actually build together and storyboard these things and then connect them and actually interplay them with different actual clips of the individual doing it. And there's just so many different ways you can position that. And what's really mind-blowing to me is the fact that you can actually portray transformations and things happening that would have been literally impossible to do before this, or you'd need the budget of, out of thousands and tens of thousands to do, like a Yeti and a Glacier tying Johnson & Johnson, you haven't got enough clients, is crazy. That is just absolutely wild. And if you were a company that was like Yeti blue bottles, right? Actually being able to have like your avatar animated, like, my AI agency, for example, is called Teddy AI. So I can now have like in my VSLs, like the Teddy interacting with things, walking down the street, and bring a level of humor and edge. And if I didn't know how to use technologies, and I might even pay for it because I don't even have time, right? But someone can come to me and display that is a really beautiful opportunity, and you can charge clients thousands of dollars. I know this because I've actually paid for it myself. And the number one thing I wouldn't want you to fall in the trap of is to think that this is somehow saturated. It isn't. It literally just arrived, and you can definitely get followers by posting things on social media. We've done things on the channel, how you connect those in your automations. But the thing is, are those eyeballs actually churning into monetization for you? Oftentimes they're not, and it's very easy with social media to get trapped into vanity metrics. I would love you to apply to this to businesses that actually will generate you a revenue and income for your precious time and investment. And we can still do that. I can show you how to do that if you want to build up like a Facebook channel, that sort of stuff. But I just think this stuff is more high leverage. And if you want to get all the research we talked about in this video and actually join us for a live, lovable code building workshop, we're going to build incredible things just like this together in our wonderful, beautiful classroom. We have lots of stuff happening all the time. Just click the link down below in the description somewhere. You can join the community and we'll build that with you together. In any case, there's a video on screen I'd encourage you to watch. We go deep into some really cool, excellent, lovable building stuff. In any case, guys, have a beautiful week and I'll see you in the next video.